a question for you.
Sure.
Hi. Um,
Hi.
Hi. So have you ever had success like assigning an EIDL or a SBA loan to assigning or transferring an EIDL to a new prospective buyer? Are those assignable from 2020 when businesses were given free money? Or no,
Yeah,
money that were, with very favorable terms?
right. They're not, they might be assumable with okay, my understanding, and no, I've never done it before, but my understanding from talking to one of the SBA guys I know is that there was a specific department, an EIDL department, or division of SBA, and that you need to contact them and deal directly with them. And they may, because if you're not dealing directly with them, then the probability of being able to have a buyer or somebody assume that loan is nil. But if you're dealing with the right department, then there may be a way to have a buyer assume that loan. The problem with that is those EIDL loans. I mean, they weren't collateralized in a lot of cases, except they did have a personal guarantee from the business owner. And so even if a buyer assumes that loan, or you try and assign that loan without SBA's consent, then the seller still has that personal guarantee hanging out there. And that's the issue. You've got to have that personal guarantee removed. And the only people that can do that is SBA. So yeah, I do know another, one of my mentees had a restaurant in Nevada he was trying to sell, and it turned out right at the end, the seller said, "Oh yeah, and by the way, I have this EIDL loan." He hadn't disclosed it before, and it was like, so you have a transaction for 90 or 100 grand for a restaurant, and then the EIDL loan was like 200.
Oh,
So it
no.
killed the
Okay.
deal. It completely killed the deal. So
Okay.
yeah, it's amazing how many people that didn't need that money, how many business owners that really didn't need those loans took them out
No.
anyways, and then blew through them and didn't
Yes.
even realize that,
Yes.
that
Oh,
what
and it
they're
wasn't
doing.
payable for 2 years while interest was accruing. So when the bill came in, they're like, "What? We had to pay this back?"
Yeah. I mean, the good news is the interest rate's low. What was it, 3%
It
on
was
those?
3.5.
3.5? Yeah. So it's relatively low. At least at least it wasn't a variable rate, and they're not stuck with these, 10,
Oh, no,
11%
yeah.
rates.
In my case, the buyer wants to assume it
Yeah.
rather than pay the chunk off, because it works out to be like $9 a day. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I can use the working capital if I can still assume that loan." But I'm learning a lot about whether or not it's transferable or assignable. I don't think it's possible. And I don't think the SBA has the infrastructure to do that paperwork. Because it wasn't from a bank or a lender, it was directly from the SBA, right? I have a